Hey, y'all. Welcome in the building. Happy Thursday. It's Trending Topics Thursday, and we got stuff to talk about. I'm glad to see you're in the building, hanging out with me. I'm trying to adjust myself here. So, happy Thursday. Listen, until this trial is over, but the judge did tell us by July 4th, we're going to get our life back. Now, I don't know when the verdict is going to happen, but I do know that closing arguments, he said he's done. He wants this thing wrapped up by the 4th of July. So buckle your seatbelts. June is almost here. So roughly 30-something days, and we could get our life back. Somewhat, I guess. And the reason why I'm saying that is because after the trial is over, he got to deal with all those civil suits. But we're going to see. Okay? So in the meantime, I'm sorry, y'all, but for 30-something more days, part of Trending Topics has got to be the Diddy trial updates. And I try to take it easy because I know this is a very emotional topic for many. And so we got Mia, the Jane Doe witness, getting on the stand today. She's an ex-Diddy assistant. And many people felt like, the witnesses that are coming now, the latter ones, are sinking Diddy's ship. Well, we're going to go over when I bring the panel up here just to kind of educate everybody on what racketeering is. I think we're still hearing about the DV. The difference, though, here with this one is she's not just talking about some Cassie. She's talking about what happened to her personally. Now, y'all love to say that most of the witnesses, they were groomed, especially Cassie. Y'all say she was so young when she met Diddy. He groomed her. Even though she was with an older man before she met Diddy, y'all putting all the grooming of Cassie Ventura on Diddy's back. And I say, okay. But this young lady, she comes for a job at Combs Enterprise. When she goes to do the interview, he got on a robe and he's in his underwear. Can y'all do me a favor? Holler in the chat at me if you ever went on an interview and the person that was interviewing you had on a robe in their underwear. Have you ever? Did you ever work at a fast food place? I've been working since I was 13. I worked at McDonald's. I ain't never seen nobody come interview me in their robe and no underwear. Corporate America, I worked in retail. I did it all. Did you ever see the people come and interview you in their underwear? In their robe? So day one, he's interviewing you with no clothes on. Not no sweatpants. Not a t-shirt and some jeans. A robe in his underwear. And you said yes to that mess. If I start off with my robe and some underwear, where do you think the shenanigans is going to go from there? You think it's going to get better? You want to tell me all these people grew up in a box? They was all homeschooled and did never socialize? And then he worked you to the bone for 5 days straight. And after that, you still stayed. You know they say we teach people how to treat us. Talking about letting somebody know that you don't give a darn about yourself from day one when you accept that. He loved to have the people living with him too. But the crazy part is, have y'all ever lived with your boss? Raise your hand in the chat if you ever lived with your employer. He loved to have the people living with them. But guess what? They say yes. If you remember when we did Little Rodney's lawsuit over here, he said he lived with Diddy a whole year. He wasn't getting paid. He was getting abused. All of this. A grown man. You had a family, and you decided that it was a good idea because you was helping with the Love album that you was going to live in Diddy's house. And it's something with these people in the holidays. If you really dissect this thing, they all just wanted to be part of Diddy's orbit, but not just part of it. They wanted to be really close to Diddy. They wanted Diddy to love them and care about them. Because Little Ronnie in his lawsuit, this ain't Diva putting 20 on 10. Little Ronnie in his lawsuit talks about one time where, he was on the outside, but it was the holidays, and Diddy said, come on inside and eat with the family. And he was super excited about that. But meantime, all before that, he was getting abused. He wasn't getting paid. And because this man told you to come inside and have some of the turkey with the family, you felt good. What is going on with these people? Then when you stayed there, you had zero privacy. You couldn't lock a door. You couldn't leave. He told you what to do, when to do, how to do it. And you was what? Because she worked for him a long time. 10 years a slave. And then God bless Cassie Ventura. Because when the Southern District of New York told her, you're going to help us get Diddy. You're going to be the star witness. And I need some other people. So Cassie went into her black book, or she went into her phone. She starts to scrolling. She said, Diva. Felicia was there. Wayne was there. In my opinion, was there. How many more you need? How many more names you need? Because she gave up all the names. She gave up all the names. They had pictures and pictures and pictures of escorts, and they said we need some escorts. Who was there? And she just thought the point. Oh, the Punisher, this one, that one, that one. She can't even remember, because one of them said, I wasn't there. And they're contradicting themselves, right? These were supposed to be drug-filled freak-offs. But nobody really wants to talk to us about the drugs. And when they do, they be like, but I really wasn't taking no drugs. But did you see Diddy take them? Well, I mean, the Southern District of New York, they taking us the local route to these RICO charges. And in my opinion, I think you should have been on an express train. I think they should have been knocking us out. Bam, 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 just slamming us with all the evidence. Hardcore evidence. And this girl's story is horrific. Horrific. Just don't understand why nobody called the cops. But everybody said they was threatened. He was going to take their life. He was going to throw them in the East River. But somehow, some way, one day they woke up and they had enough. And they was able to turn the key and leave the house and go on with their life. I'm confused about that. Capricorn Clark said, she's going to get thrown in the East River. Her life is going to be taken, this, that, and the other. But one day, he kicked her out. He told her to get out. And the wildest thing is, he let her live. Mia, she was stuck. She couldn't leave. He threatened her. He this, he that, he that, he that. But then one day she woke up. She got out. And she lived. You got Cassie Ventura. He was threatening over and over and over again. over and over and over again. He's going to put out the tapes of her. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And I'm saying this respectfully. In between, she was sleeping with this one, that one, Michael B. Jordan, the NFL player, Kid Cudi. Then her trainer, who she later married. But remember though, the big bad wolf, Diddy, wouldn't dare let her leave to do anything. It's a little confusing. But it's up to the Southern District of New York to pull this thing together and put it in a pretty bow for us so that we can say, hands down, this is RICO. Then I'm going to go to the next story. I don't understand people. I'm confused. This mother literally sold her daughter. Now, this is sex trafficking for real. Not for play, for real. The mother, she gave birth to this girl. She sold her own daughter. And guess what was behind the shenanigans? Drugs. You know, let me say this really quickly. Many people think it's not a big deal. Some people, and listen, y'all gotta calm down, because when something hits you on the side, y'all be ready to come for me. I'm not judging, I'm talking. But some people in their home, they got a full-blown bar. They got the vodka, the Ciroc, they got this, they got that, they got all of this. They let loose on the weekends. They smoking, they drinking, they doing them. And their little kids from birth to 18, all they're seeing is all of that drinking and drugging. And then you got an uncle that's over there half drunk and slipping your 16-year-old. Here, take a little sip. Ain't gonna hurt you. Go ahead, get it. You're gonna be a man. Then we wonder why we go out with all this debauchery. I told y'all the other day, Jennifer Lopez, you got money for days. If Jennifer Lopez went somewhere, sat down, and never worked another day of her life, she good, and them twins are going to be good for life. But so desperate to be in this dark world of entertainment, she gets on the stage at the AMA Awards and she kissing man, woman, flipping, dipping, splitting, and acting a fool. Let me move on, because this woman, she sold her daughter. She got life in prison. Then we got a stranger rewards this teenager. This teenager, he graduated from high school. Right after graduation, because he worked at, I think it was the McDonald's or the Burger King, one of the fast foods. He saw all his co-workers was so busy, he just popped by, and he still had on his graduation stuff. He got behind the counter, was helping his friends and fellow co-workers to get the job done. A perfect stranger saw him, recognized him, started a GoFundMe because he was going to take what they call a gap year. You know, and that's a whole nother story for another day, us naming when you're not going to college right away. I'm going to take a gap year. For many people, that gap year becomes 20 years, and then they're 40 and wondering what did they do with their life. But I'll talk to you about that another day. So he's taking a gap year. He was going to take a gap year, but they raised about $40-something thousand for him, and now he's looking into college. To God be the glory. Can I just say this real quick, and then I'm going to bring the people in the building? I don't understand what people don't understand about this. Always another route. If whether you got $1 or $1,000. I started out at the local community college. Yes, I did. Then I went to the university, and later on I went to nursing school, and later on I went and got a grad degree. But I started out at the local community college. If you want to go to college, if college is what you want to do, you don't need to take a gap year to try to save up money to go to college, because you're never probably going to be able to save up about $100,000. I mean, the average college probably for 4 years. Go to the community college and you can work and go to school. And then from there, depending upon how your grades are done and everything go right, you probably could end up with a scholarship to go to the 4-year university. We got to stop the nonsense in 2025 talking about we can't. No, you can't because you don't want to. Well, I had to stay working for this monster because I wanted a career in the entertainment industry. Stop. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for YouTube, I don't even know if I would have this podcast and this platform the way that I do. I'm 55 and I found a way through YouTube. And people that are way younger than me talking about I can't unless I sleep with the devil. That's the lies. It's lies. There have been so many people that went viral from the social media, from the Instagrams, the TikToks. I got a TikTok. I don't really know how to TikTok. I'm going to teach myself. But you know what? The people are making it do what it do. There's no way in 2025 that you got to sell yourself to the devil when you can do this thing on your own via that TikTok. That Mr. Beast, he amassed his fortune on the YouTube. You got to stop. There was no other way. And then this man was half paying the people. God, I could maybe half understand it if they were saying, well, I was getting $200,000 to be the assistant. They was getting pennies on the dollars, working all kinds of hours, not getting sleep, and according to them, being forced to take all kinds of substances, and they stayed. I'm sorry. I don't ran my mouth for not enough. Y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Roll aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is real simple. It's called Why? Why? Why would you take a job in the interview? The man got on a robe and some underwear. Why? Why, as a mother, you carry this precious jewel in your body for 9 months and you sell her? You need the rot and you know where. And praise the Lord, I know the why on this one. A perfect stranger. God bless you. Starts a GoFundMe. And now this kid is on his way to college. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Felicia. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Diva. I just got to say, I'm a community college student trustee right here in the flesh, living proof.
Come on now. Holla at the community college. Lawson Blair, let's start at the beginning, Diva. Why would a boss CEO even be in his underwear interviewing a candidate? Because he's a deviant. I did a story on this channel where the dentist, I think he was a dentist or he was a doctor, he was one of them. He was walking around his office butt naked. So the thing is, if you ever know in life, I watch a lot of these motivational speakers. I'm big on that. What is that app? Mind Valley app. You can never change another person. The only person you can never always control is yourself. So that's why I'm telling the people out there in the streets, why would you, when you walk upon some foolery, why would you continue at a job when it's starting out with your boss ain't got no clothes on? I'm good. Not going to happen. So let me get into this story. So hold on 1 second, because we're going to do the Diddy updates and we'll go around and talk. But first I want to let's do a little bit on this RICO thing here, right? Because this is what he's being charged with. The Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, RICO, is a federal law designed to combat organized crime by targeting criminal enterprises, not just individual crimes. So let's freeze right there for 1.2 seconds. Not Diva, the law itself is saying not just individual crimes. I need the Southern District of New York to tell us who else was part of this enterprise, and I don't need for all of them to be getting immunity. I need you to lock them up. That's what I need. Because it says in the law here, it says not just individual crimes. It consists of two key elements: a pattern of racketeering activity and involvement with a criminal enterprise. Racketeering activity includes a list of 35 predicate crimes, and to be charged under RICO, at least 2 of these crimes must be committed within a 10-year period by an entity linked to the enterprise. So that's why they had that expansion of the year from which they charge him from. I think they started, I forgot what year they started. I think they said they went back as far as 2008. I think. I got to go back and look. So racketeering activity. The RICO Act defines racketeering activity as a list of 35 offenses, including taking somebody's life, kidnapping somebody, and Capricorn Clark constantly says she was kidnapped, extortion. Remember, Cassie's mother, Regina Victoria, came up there and said that they got extorted for $20,000, or else Diddy was going to put out Cassie's sex tapes. Arson, you got Kid Cudi. Okay, so now I see they're taking us down a slow roll, but they didn't quite connect the arson to Diddy, right? But they brought that up there. Robbery, okay. Remember, he went to Kid Cudi's house, he broke in, but when the cops themselves said it was a trespassing situation because they couldn't find anything that was stolen. We got bribery, we got drug dealing. I don't think he was dealing drugs. He was just using the drugs, right? We got money laundering. They're trying to connect, I think, all how the escorts got paid with the money laundering. And then there's more. The enterprise. This is the enterprise. It's an organized group or entity involved in the criminal activities, such as a crime family, a gang, or even a corporation. So I think they're leading with him in a corporation, but why aren't any of the other people in this corporation charged? Why? Pattern of racketeering. To be charged under RICO, a person must engage in a pattern of racketeering activity, meaning at least 2 predicate crimes committed within a 10-year period. Connection to the enterprise. The racketeering activities must be connected to the enterprise. And I don't know how all of these sexual activities are connected to the enterprise. I don't know. To me, the Southern District of New York, they have not made the connection yet for me. The RICO Act was created to target leaders of criminal organizations, allowing prosecutors to charge individuals for their roles in the enterprise, even if they didn't directly commit all of the crimes themselves, right? If they had other people committing the crimes for them, right? Let me see. Lawson said Diddy is the only defendant currently because he is the head of the operation enterprise, the one with the money and the power. The other defendants are cooperating with the government, one of the assistants. Yeah, I still need other people to not get all this immunity and to get locked up with him. Because when they go to get the mob, they don't just get the mobster, the crime boss. They get the other ones go down too. Somehow, some way, even if they get immunity, they serve some type of time. But I just wanted to bring that up in there. So let me just go. Let me give some Diddy highlights here. let's just listen to some things, and then we'll get into the highlights and some more stuff, and then we'll do our round table. Okay, let's play that.
News now at noon. In the sex trafficking trial, Sean Diddy Combs, one of the music mogul's alleged victims, is taking the stand as a witness. Let's get right out to Fox 5's Lisa Evers, live in Lower Manhattan with the very latest from inside of the courtroom. Lisa, what has the jury heard so far today?
Some shocking allegations already, Bianca. And this personal assistant to Diddy was here on the stand this morning amid unusual privacy and security concerns. Identified only as Mia, she began to tell the story of her nightmare, a nightmare that she says she could not escape. Now, this morning, the sons of Sean Combs, Quincy, Justin, and Christian, also known as King Combs, made their way into federal court in a continuing show of support that began months ago during their father's pretrial hearings. This morning in the 26th floor courtroom, a woman identified only as Mia began her testimony about her time working as Combs' assistant. She said on her very first day she was not allowed to sleep for 24 hours, but went along with it because she thought it might be some kind of test, but explained things only got worse from there, that she was constantly cursed at and humiliated and not allowed to leave his homes where she was working and living without his permission. Once, she said, she did leave at night. He allegedly sent a security team to find her and bring her back. Now, this is just the beginning, and clearly we'll be hearing a lot more about the alleged abuse she says she suffered at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs later on this afternoon. Now, as many people know, no cameras or phones, even with cameras, are allowed inside federal courtrooms, so we rely on sketches to bring you these stories. But today, the judge made an unusual order telling the sketch artist that they could not draw her or any type of image for her in order to protect her privacy and her security. We're live at federal court. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News. Bianca, back to you.
All right, Lisa, thank you for the update on that.
All right, so
welcome back.
Is that, let me just go to give another little update here. Okay. So Diddy trial highlights ex-assistant claims sexual assault plus Cassie and Michael B. Jordan details. Somebody asked me, did she tell security? You know what? This thing is so convoluted, crazy. It's wild. It's just wild. It's an understatement. But that's the best word I could come up with right now. It's like nobody was saying anything to anybody. They was just enduring the craziness of Diddy. It's crazy. Let's take a listen.
Well, today in court, there was a witness who kind of closed the loop on Cassie's relationship with Michael B. Jordan. And it seems to be more than just being on the same movie set. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. I want to start with alleged victim number 4, who goes by the name Mia. It's an alias. She is one of the people who is testifying where the judge has granted her anonymity. She is on the stand, but everybody in the courtroom has been warned. Do not reveal her identity. Do not even give a physical description of her. And that was the deal. The judge has made it clear. If anybody violates that, there will be severe consequences. Okay, so she testified, excuse me, that she was Diddy's ex-assistant. She said he raped her, sexually assaulted her in various ways, multiple times. He exacted unbelievable violence against her, threatened her. One point, allegedly threatened to take her phone and use anything on the phone against her. Same kind of extortion that we heard when Cassie took the stand and testified on that airplane ride back from France. Diddy said, you don't do a freak off, I'm going to release one of the freak off videos that you are profiled in and humiliate you. So she was in line with Cassie's testimony. Here's my issue. That there are some people who think that both Mia and Cassie really bolster this claim of racketeering that the prosecutors are making. And I just don't see it. I think that with Cassie, clearly We're talking about the charge of transporting people for sex under force or coercion. And I think Mia has backed that up in some ways, both on her personal story and on things she observed with Cassie. But, I don't think it's the same as blowing up Kid Cudi's car if the jury believes that Diddy did it. I don't think it's the same as burglarizing Kid Cudi's home and using people in real organized crime tactics. I am not certain that a jury is going to see a jealous, crazy boyfriend or employer the same way they would see a racketeer. And because of that, what I don't understand is why this prosecutor or the prosecutors wouldn't do all of the Cassie testimony together. In other words, do Cassie and Mia together and then do Cuddy with all the racketeering allegations and the other allegations. But they seem to be hopscotching back and forth. And to me, it's not telling a tight story. So we will see if this jury ultimately says this is a form of racketeering. I just don't know that it's there. Deontay Nash, by the way, I want to say one other thing before I get to Deontay. Capricorn, another one of his assistants, I think goes a long way on the racketeering front. And to me, it's combining Kitty and Capricorn and showing all of Diddy's tactics of holding somebody hostage, like kidnapping them for 5 days because she might have a relationship with Suge Knight. That's where you start feeling racketeering. Putting the two of them together, to me, is more powerful than separating them. And they were separated on the stand by other witnesses. And it just feels to me like you build one area and then you build the next area, but you don't hopscotch back and forth. They can always fix that in a very powerful closing argument. And the prosecutor in this case, Comey, apparently excels at closing arguments. But I just don't understand as you go along that you don't want to cement those two things differently and separately. Okay, let's get into Deontay. So Deontay was Cassie and Diddy's stylist. And up to this point, what we heard with Cassie was that Michael B. Jordan and Cassie were essentially on the same movie set. Okay, so they knew each other. But Deontay said he hooked the two of them up. So it's not just they happen to be in the same movie set. He's almost saying, I put them together. And he also says that Cassie was with an NFL player by the name of Andre Grant. So this is the defense on cross-examination talking to Deontay. And I think the reason they're doing this, in fact, I'm pretty sure, is, look, you've already heard witnesses who have said that Cassie was the victim of Stockholm Syndrome, that even though she could leave, she really couldn't because she was essentially like a battered woman. She was a battered woman. We know she was a battered woman because we saw the 2016 Intercontinental tape. So what the expert psychologist said was, don't think just because she could walk out the door meant she had free will to do that. What the defense is doing with Michael B. Jordan especially is saying, wait a minute, if the stylist to both Cassie and Diddy would feel comfortable enough to hook Michael B. Jordan up with Cassie, and Cassie was game, how did she feel trapped in the relationship with Diddy? Now, I'm not saying she wasn't, but I'm saying that was the point prosecutors are trying to make. And on that point, one of the things they got Deontay to say was Cassie was a bad singer. Now, that's relevant, again, for the same point, that what the defense is trying to show is that Cassie wasn't just enslaved in a relationship she didn't want to be in. She was in a relationship that gave her something. And when Deontay says she's a bad singer, the clear intimation is she really couldn't get success as a singer unless she had somebody like Diddy. And and that there was something in it for her. You know, at one point he said something to the effect of, well, who am I going to get next? Jay-Z is taken. So the way the defense wants to make it look is that Cassie was an opportunist. That's the way they're painting her, that she hitched her wagon to somebody who could make her famous and make her successful in a career that she might not necessarily have the talent for. So we'll see if that resonates at all with the jury. Final thing I want to say is, I think at this point, you got to wonder, is Diddy going to take the stand? Now, I spoke with Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's lead lawyer, about this in one of our Tubi documentaries. And he said, I don't think I can keep him off the stand. Well, with all due respect, I think you will keep him off the stand, Mr. Agnifilo. There is no way that Diddy will be subjected to the kind of cross-examination at the hands of Comey. There is just no way that's going to happen. And even if Diddy wants to testify, Mark Agnifilo is a great and powerful lawyer. Tenny Garrigus, the same, and the other lawyers on that case as well. There is no way, in my view, no matter what Diddy wants, they will prevail upon him. There is just no way I see him taking the stand. That said, I have been surprised in other trials, but they got to start thinking about that now. And if Diddy wants to tell his story, my strong feeling is it's going to be told through other people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he should get on the stand. I have more pieces to share, but I want to go around first and talk to the people. You know, and it's a shame, Callie, I'm seeing your little comments out there. It's a shame that because we're explaining through our eyes what we see, you got to always put out a disclaimer about I'm not trying to say Diddy should be free. I'm not trying to say he's not a monster. I've seen many cases, in some of these cases, I'm like, good God, this is bad. This person is gonna go down. And then there's other cases where I'm like, this is crazy. Like, they got no evidence. What are they doing? Yeah, Diddy was a monster. Okay, according to all of these stories. But I think the problem is a lot of these people did, like I said the other day, they're telling half truths. Felicia, your thoughts?
Okay, thank you, Diva, and good evening, everybody. You know, I've been listening, reading, listening. I didn't do this last night. I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to remind the panel and the chat that as of today, we haven't heard of any minors. No 9-year-old, no 13-year-old, no 16-year-old. So some of us are still waiting. However, we did hear from Mia today. And no shame on Mia. Maybe she's accustomed to going to interviews where people are in their underwear in a bathrobe and they want to talk to her. You know, if that's not my experience, maybe that's hers. But I believe that was the interview. Mm-hmm. Whether or not you would stay when someone is choosing to interview you in their underwear.
You better talk.
And if you're comfortable enough to come in and sit down, because you're in their house too. She was in Mr. Combs' home in New Jersey, in Alpine, New Jersey. So you're in their home and they're in their underwear. And I didn't hear what questions, if she was asked, what questions she was asked about her previous experiences in the industry or whatever. But we know she was hired immediately, and then she went on a 5-day no sleep. This is according to her testimony, no sleep whatsoever. And when she was asked about how did that happen, was she able to do that, she admitted that she'd been taking time release Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was taking that at the time. And somewhere around day 5, she was getting cuckoo and she wasn't clear and she was unable to function. And Mr. Combs told her she could go home and get some sleep. Okay. No, she did not say, I won't be back. No, she did not say, I cannot do this.
Mm-hmm.
No, she did not say this is not what the job description called for. She said she had her own apartment. She had a couple of roommates, and they would refer to her as the ghost roommate because she was never there. And she was never there because she wasn't allowed, according to her testimony, to be there. If she was on the East Coast, she was either at Mr. Combs' home in New Jersey or in the office in Manhattan or the studio. And on the West Coast, she stayed at staff housing. So this was going on for a while, less than 90 days. And when she cleared probation, he told her she was doing a great job. And he asked, they were at an event, forget the event, and he asked everyone to clear the kitchen where they were. And he served both of them some vodka, and she took it. And it hit her hard. She said very, very hard. And she took another one. And the next thing you know, she woke up in the morning in a chair somewhere and she don't know what happened to her. So why did I go through all that? Because I know there are a lot of young women, younger women than me, in this chat and on this panel. You need to know when you're making a choice and a decision, what may be the consequences down the road. Someone interviewing you in a suit and has their penis out or their breast out, or they got some kind of pornography, or they're asking you a question. Many years ago, one of our Supreme Court justices interviewed a clerk like that, was asking her how did she feel about pubic hairs and things like that. When you are made uncomfortable, and I'm not saying that Miss Mia was uncomfortable, I'm talking to you, the individual. Something doesn't feel right, it doesn't sit well with you. Your job is not to make the other person comfortable. Your job is to protect you. You can gracefully leave. You can gracefully decline. You can say, no, thank you. I'm not interested. This isn't going to be a good fit for me. Thank you so much for the opportunity. However, I will be leaving. Now, I'm not going to go all into the details because Diva's just doing the first round. But one of the things that Diva didn't go through, and if I may, Diva, is to go through the 36 counts of what is RICO. So, as she said, there's extortion, money laundering, bribery. In the bribery piece, they were saying that Mr. Combs attempted to bribe the security hotel. So that was one of the things. Counterfeiting, drug trafficking, embezzlement, gambling, wire fraud, kidnapping. Diva went through that. Mail fraud, it's supposed to come. Arson, Diva went through that. Robbery, we went through that. And Diva was absolutely correct. The police report did not indicate robbery or burglary. They said it was trespassing. Drug crimes, witness tampering. They've been accusing him of witness tampering for almost a year now. Bankruptcy, copyright infringement. I think that's interesting, considering these publishing rights and things like that that have been of discussion for him. Unaliving is the final one, and also a criminal enterprise existence. So those are things I think going forward, many of us should kind of keep in mind when we're seeing them try to connect the dots. So I'm done for now, Diva. Thank you.
Okay. I appreciate you. I'm coming to you, Wayne. Just hold on one second. I want to just share a screen. We'll just throw some stuff in between here. So Diddy's former assistant Mia reportedly got emotional as she described the multiple occasions Diddy allegedly SA'd her. He used one hand to get his pants undone. He put himself inside me. They're back. They said they were back from break. The essays, when did they occur? When I was working for Puff. Where was the first time? The Plaza Hotel in New York for Puff's 40th birthday. Were you his personal assistant? Yes, I've been there only a few months. She worked for him for years. In a few months, he did this to her. What rooms did Mr. Combs rent out? The penthouse, party guests, and celebrities there. What did Mr. Combs do? He asked to speak to me in the kitchen. What did he do? He had everyone else clear the room. What did he say? That we're going to be working closer together. He poured us 2 shots of vodka each for his birthday. What did you do with the shot? I took them. They hit me hard. Usually I could take it easily. My eyes couldn't focus. His face was close. He put his arm up the side of my dress and he kissed me. Did you want him to? No. Were you able to say no? I was shocked. I froze. I didn't process what was happening. Where were you the next time Mr. Combs SA'd you? The Beverly Grove house. I was asleep on the bottom bunk. I wasn't allowed to lock the door. I woke up. There was the weight of a person on me. Who? Puff. It was so fast. He used one hand to get his pants undone. He put himself inside of me. You mean his pee inside of you? I just froze. How did you feel? Terrified and confused and ashamed and scared. How long? Very quick. But it felt like forever. But he wouldn't leave a job unfinished. Is that when it would end? Yes. The next time. The Beverly Crest house. I was on his bedroom closet floor, putting things in a bag. Then Puff was in the closet. He had his pee out and he grabbed my head and cries and put it in, her mouth. Mr. Combs took his pee out and put it in your mouth. Yes, I was frozen. I didn't do anything. And she's crying. How did you feel? Like trash, scared and ashamed. How long did it last? It was very fast. Were there other essays? Yes. I have a dark feeling. One time we were flying on a private jet. Everyone was asleep. By the bathroom, there was a bed. I went by and he was standing right there. Mia, I tried to make it about other people who might see or hear. It didn't work. How did you feel? Helpless. I had lost some layer of protection. I wasn't safe, terrified. Do you remember what happened? No. Ay, ay, ay. Wayne, your thoughts?
I think people get themselves in these situations when they're willing to drop their morals for something they want so bad. I bet he could have told her one of the requirements of the job is you work for free for the first month. And she'd have been on it like white on rice. She wanted that so bad. I don't think it was the money. She wanted that job. It was prestigious in that circle. I guess it's prestige to work for Puff. So, but when you're willing to drop your morals, that's how you get into this. And she was willing to do that. Also, I think this hopscotching back and forth with Cassie, because everything comes back to Cassie. And I don't know if the prosecution got a great case or not. Mm-hmm. But if they did like the guy TMZ said, did all at the same time, then you can't come back to Cassie. Okay, so they want to bring, because Cassie's the star witness. To me, they say Cassie's the star witness. And to me, I think they want to keep that, and just in case you may think he's innocent, remember that. I know it's not being tried on domestic violence, but you can't unsee what you done saw. We human, and people thinking in their mind, he beat the slop out of her. He deserved it. Let's give it to him anyway. And I think Puff will testify. He ain't got nothing to lose. I think he'll get up there, boo-hoo. I'm sorry. I saw therapy. I'm doing therapy. in prison. I'm seeing the prison doctor. I think, what he got to lose? I'm done.
Ooh, he got everything to lose. I don't think if he's smart, he wouldn't get on that stand. Manila and Poppin, you're up.
Yes, thank you. For the RICO charges, they're stating that there's 8 elements, and they've basically proven, and they only need to prove 2. And I think that we as layman people are used to seeing court TV or Law and Order and things like that, and we think everything has to be dramatized or laid out dramatically for us. I think the government definitely has proven at least 2 elements, if not more. I believe someone who previously stated they didn't see how they proved drugs. But if you think back when Cassie was stating that he had prescriptions being filled in fraudulent names, that right there is another element, but that's the drug element as well, with the Frank White and having a concierge doctor filling out prescriptions illegally for himself. Um, as per Cassie and all the other young ladies that, well, were young then, it all comes back to that they were young and they wanted to be a part of a certain lifestyle, and they would do anything they could to be a part of this lifestyle and to be a part of this man. They were getting paid. If you think back 15 years ago, 50, $60,000 and you're 20 something years old was still decent money. um they should have been being paid more, but he knew how to solicit young people. He knew the type, these type of men, they know how to solicit what they want and from whom they want it from. I heard one of them testify that I believe it was the Capricorn girl, it may have been, that she and Cassie went to Prince's party, and he didn't give the okay for it, and he saw them across the room, and then he commenced to this beating again of on Cassie. And it's the audacity for it, because Diva, you're saying, where the rest of the people that should be indicted. Of course they're going to go after him because he is the ringleader. He is the ruler or in charge of the enterprise, which is Bad Boy. He believes that he is untouchable because the people around him do as what he says, and no one stops him. I say all of that to say they went to the Prince party, and he commences to beat her as he typically does, and Prince's security guards had to basically intervene, and they probably did a little, nudging and pushing and punching on him too. And I say that you're doing this in front of Prince's entourage, Prince, a living icon, because you're in a circle makes you believe that you are untouchable and you could do all of these things. But again, he surrounds himself with yes people. And the funny thing about it is, Cassie, yes, she's not innocent. She definitely was, condemning, she was condoning a lot that was happening to her for the fame. What baffles me is you were getting these type of beatings and this type of treatment, but your parents were still working. Your parents, he calls your parents to blackmail them. They don't even, they can't even liquidate $20,000. They have to take a home equity line of credit out. So it's like the people that's around him, he makes sure he doesn't surround himself with smart people neither. So I say all of that, and I'll sum it up to say I do believe the closing remarks is going to tie everything. I do believe they pushed Cassie out first because she was about to have a baby at any minute, and they didn't want to jeopardize not having her get on the stand. And I believe that's why they started with her. The police did with the Kid Cudi thing. They didn't say He broke in, it was trespassing, but Kid Cudi did, I believe I heard him say he came in his house and Diddy was in his house. So if the police says it or not, if the man entered the man's house without authorization, that's breaking and entering. I don't know how it transpired to something else, but we will see how it plays out. We still have another 4 weeks for it to go. I do believe he's going to take the stand because he's a narcissist and he believes that this is really a joke. A lot of people within this inner circle is carrying on as if this is a joke. I want to see where's Kim. I want Mace. I want Mary. I want all of these because all of them have been around. They all have seen it. They've all probably been victimized. They've all condoned things. It's sad that that industry, and he's not the only one, they actually just they do these type of things and they get away with it because of power and people just wanting to be in their space. And if people stop being so vain and just start to think more clearly for themselves, it could save us a whole lot of issues, down the run. But I believe he's going to be convicted, and I believe he's going to be pardoned by this new president of the United States of America because it's all a game to all of them. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Let me just say this. This. Sometimes we gotta shake the train. Sometimes we gotta shake the train. I know you said Prince is an icon. I love Prince, and I went to a Prince concert, and it was the best thing ever. And when that man came out and sung "Purple Rain," I got chills. But usually, like people end up hanging out with each other, right? Respectfully saying the icon was addicted. I'm going to say it the nice way I can. The icon Prince was addicted. He had addictions. So, I'll carry on. Amy J. And well, before I say this, right? In addition to that, Prince himself, before he passed, was accused of some things. Amy J.
Hey, how you guys doing? So,
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people saying RICO, RICO, this is RICO, that they've proven this and they've proven that. But I just wanted to go down the history of convictions of RICO or cases of RICO in America. And I want you to see what they actually convicted people for and what they went to jail for. And I'm not going to read them all because these are the famous cases. So you have one of the cases is, here it is, right here, the Iran Contran. They had 30 defendants who were implicated in a scandal that would also be part of a conspiracy. That was the bombings, and they said that it was a 500-page indictment. But these bombings were also about the assassination of a judge. And the best RICO case has been seen. The litigation spawned, and the fundraising efforts went up to like millions. But there was what was at hand with this issue? They said it was legal political assassination as well as armed drug trafficking. Do you see how serious that is? That's a real RICO charge because this was expanding into Iran, into America. There were over 30 defendants that were fighting for their life and saying they had nothing to do with illegal political assassinations. This was the famous one. Then we had the Gambino crime family with John Gotti and Frank Lasco, who were convicted for RICO and later sentenced to life, and theirs had to do with drug trafficking and hiding them in the business. Then you have 2000 with the Los Angeles Police Department. They had a rampant scandal, broke into the Los Angeles Police Department, exposing widespread criminal activity within the Department of Anti-Gang Unit. 70 officers initially implicated in the evidence dealing drugs, bank robbery, unlawful killing, and beatings. This went on in 2000, and they were able to have years of investigation to prove this. Then you have it was one of them was called the Cowboy, and I'm just reading. You can go on yourself or just research how many the famous RICO cases and what was at stake when they were trying to get these people in trouble. You have the Cowboy Mafia. They were indicted. The Order. There was Michael Minkton, the Gambino family. There's the Hell Angels motorcycle club, and it all went down to them raising or receiving and funneling millions of dollars and people being killed unlawfully. It wasn't, and I'm not saying sex trafficking is not an issue, but when we're talking about one person over and over and over and over again. And it sounds like this person has so much disposability. He has all this money and all this access. And somehow we just keep going back to this one relationship and one people, all these people witnessing this one person, and we see no financial gain. We see that this person's career is all up in the air between what people consider talented and non-talented. I think we have to readjust our eyes. It's not that we don't see what they're trying to do and how they're trying to put a square into a circle. This is getting crazy. Just research yourself these famous RICO cases and what was at stake, and you look at Diddy's case. This is a joke. I promise you. And it's not that we don't think he's a serious awful boss. He sounds temperamental. He sounds like he suffers from drug use. And even the girl talking about ADHD, I actually take ADHD medicine, so she better have prescriptions to prove that she has ADHD. And for her to, and her being an ADHD person, you should know you shouldn't be taking medication to keep you awake. This is to keep you focused. So you were actually using those drugs, and I would almost be for certain you were adding boosters that were not legal to create that effect of staying up for more than 5 days. And that's something you knew to do before you met Diddy, because this is something that in the ADHD community we know about. So the idea that this person has made you do things and made you basically make poor decisions is something I just can't agree with. And I just don't understand why people can't see what we are seeing as a community about RICO and what RICO means and how many RICO cases that New York has tried and actually convicted and what these people were convicted for and what was the trail and what was the years of investigation. If we're talking about incidents of abuse and proving this abuse being RICO, I'm so confused. Okay, that's the end. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you. Thank you. 48, your thoughts. Nice to see you in the building.
Hey Diva, hey
Hey.
panel, hey chat. Okay, so for me, I just feel like it's crazy. It's just a freaky case. I'm getting tired of hearing about these people going through these things. Y'all know I'm a day one to the Chronicles. Diva know my backstory, so this don't make sense. Mr. Wayne, no, I'll go upside your head. You know that's my thing. So, them not being strong enough to speak up for yourself, I could see maybe the first time it being a shock, but two, three, four, five, six, I don't get it. Like Amy J just said, I I don't get it. You know, I don't have nothing else to say, Diva. I just don't get
No,
it.
I appreciate you, right? Because at some listen, with her and her story, the problem started on day one. And then if it didn't start day one, let's say by day 7, you already knew this was gonna be some shenanigans because you allegedly had to stay up 5 days straight, which is humanly impossible, but okay. You was
No,
up.
you could, Diva. People who take ADHD medicines take boosters as well that are not legal to make
Yeah,
the medication work longer, which means she knew about it before she met Diddy.
I won't disagree with you on that, but I'm just saying it is humanly impossible that for 5 days straight you did not fall asleep not once. It's not possible. I'm telling you that it's not possible. So I don't care what booster you have taken. You have seen when they show like these addicts on the street. After a while, they have fallen asleep in the grass, in the corner, or whatever. It's just literally up for the 5 days straight. It's not humanly possible. But whatever. She told her story. Her story is her story. Julius, your thoughts?
This just doesn't. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
This doesn't make sense to me. And I know her story is her story. I understand that. I'm sorry for what she went through. I'm praying for her. But when you encountered the first set of shenanigans, catch 22, red flag number 1, you didn't think, yeah, I'm sorry, sir, this ain't working out, deuces. Better yet, to interview. And let me just say, okay, yes, the potential employer is interviewing you, but you are also interviewing, because there is a section during the interview where the potential employer asks you, do you have any questions for us? You are also interviewing the potential employer.
You better talk to the people, Julius.
And so if someone is sitting around in they drawers with almost with all their business out, excuse me, there won't be no conversation. There won't be no pleasantries. I will be turning around and going out the door. Because you ain't about, no, sir. Because this interview was a two-way street. So I'm sorry that she went through all that. I'm starting to lose my patience with these witnesses. And so I'm going to shut up.
I appreciate you. I'm losing my patience with them too, because all of them are saying to us, but nobody told us yet that they went to the door. But no, I take it back. She did say when she tried to leave or she went somewhere, he sent security looking for her. And Cassie has said that a couple times too. But I would just like to know, when they've got the final straw and they left for good, how did that happen? Was he just done with them? I don't know. Just my question. Anybody else before I move on to our next story?
Adiva, I'd like to add a little bit here. According to Miss Mia's testimony, because I'm just following up a little bit here on Amy J. Within about 3 or 4 months, she was doing the opiates, the ketamine, the Molly, the ecstasy, the MDMA. She was doing all of those substances. And so the one thing that we have agreed upon is that these substances play a big role in who stays and who goes. I am quite sure that there were a lot of other people, clean and sober and healthy in mind, who may have taken the job and bailed in a week or 3 days and did what they did. But it seems to me, because I'm going on the testimony, Deontay did say on the stand that he has recently spoken with Miss Ventura, and Miss Mia said that she and Miss Ventura are like sisters. So they're all talking, they all banded together to live this kind of life. And I come back again, when we make choices, we need to look at what may be down the road, what consequences come with that. So when you say I could not leave, and I'm going on testimony, folks. I was not allowed to lock doors because Mr. Combs said it was his house. So if you're not feeling safe, if you don't feel comfortable, you walk in on an interview. I don't care if it's at the McDonald's. I don't care if it's at a major corporation. And because these things happen everywhere. Predators are everywhere. They're not just in the entertainment industry. There are people who are calling you in and you're responding to an opportunity, and this may happen to you. There's a way. Pray up first. You pause. You speak very politely and exit if this isn't for you, because these people are showing us what your life may look like 10 years down the road. You were so worried about a tape being released or somebody, because according to Miss Mia, he threatened to do something with her phone, show something on the phone and so forth and so on. Now the world knows. The world knows. So you were concerned about maybe this one or that one, or maybe 1,000 people, now 1 billion people. No. And I don't know how you restore back your dignity. I don't know how you get back your integrity. I don't know how you move about with honor or trust, because they didn't trust each other. They turned on each other. And that's what we're seeing in there. And none of them are in there because they said, yes, I want to come in and speak the truth. Because I have to remind you again tonight, not a one of them filed a police report. Not a one of them put in a police complaint. And when they were contacted by the authorities, they did not answer the calls and had some family members tell them to go the F away. So
run that to the people again.
Not a one.
Not a one.
Police
complaint.
Hold on now. A set Kid Cudi.
Well, he wasn't hanging out with them. He thought,
right.
He
But I'm
thought
saying
Miss Ventura had broken up and had walked away from that life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and one more thing. According to Miss Mia's testimony, Miss Ventura was not aware that her boyfriend was raping her over those years, over that time. She learned it today when she was on the stand.
And this is your bestie.
Correct. We are like sisters.
We're like sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And Cassie has been with her husband for over 8 years, and you don't, on the back end, after you're both are out the jungle, tell your bestie, your sister, what happened to you.
Don't let people shame you into silence. Speak the truth. When you've been harmed and hurt and offended, open up and speak it until someone who believes you can help you to the other side of being restored. Don't let people shame you into silence.
You better talk. Well, Cassie knew the video from the Continental Hotel existed. She had it. So that was proof of DV, not to mention all the pictures she took of her injuries, but never, ever, ever, ever filed a police report. Can we remind y'all also, since we're doing a little remembering here, reminding people of stuff, can we remind you that when Kim Porter died and Cassie was with her husband, she ain't never had to look back at a Diddy. She called to see if her boyfriend, the one she still loved, was going to take her back because Kim Porter was gone. And when he came out and said that Kim Porter was the love of her life, she fell out. She fell out. And she realized, after I done dropped it low, spread it wide, let all of these men get up in me to prove my love to him, he was still calling me a bee, a hoe, a slut. And then the one he loved, the one I tried to tell him, bring her to these freak offs. And he wouldn't dare. When she passed away, I go out there to see one last time if I could finally be number one. And he spits in her face again by saying, no, Kim was the one. I wish I would have married her while she was alive. That's what Diddy said, not Diva. And to be truthfully honest with you, I would put money down on the table. Now, not all my money, but I will put money on the table that she did not by no means wanted this thing to go this far. But once she dropped that lawsuit in the Southern District of New York was in her face, they was punking her. She got scared. She knew she ain't had no choice. If you go back, her husband was like, just hand over the laptops. We gonna be all right. And then one thing she definitely didn't know for sure is that they was going to put the whole case on her back. Shame on the Southern District of New York. Like Amy J said, if you go look up RICO charges, come on. But no, they put this whole case on Cassie back, and you got half of the witnesses that spoke so far. All they keep telling us is about the DB that Cassie went through. Where, we get it, get to the RICO. They can't prove the arson. They had an expert come in and said a female's fingerprint was on the arson. So unless you want to talk about the enterprise that your claim Diddy had, you need to tell me what female in the enterprise could have possibly thrown that cartel in the car and blew it up so we could connect it back to Diddy. This is a piss poor, whole operation from the Southern District of New York. It's piss poor. You got to connect the dots. I shouldn't be, because remember, all the defense need is some reasonable doubt. How are you connecting because he said so? How are you connecting this cartel so you can go with arson that Diddy did it? Who in his enterprise? What female in the enterprise did it? Did Capricorn Clark do it? Did she forget to tell us some of her testimony on the stand? She called how she was kidnapped. What other reason would they bring Capricorn Clark with them? He had the address. He knocked on his door to bring her why? I would have asked her why. Why do you think he brought you? Tell me why. Why did he wake you up to bring you?
And I wanted to add, Diva, I listened to an interview with Suge Knight and Chris Cuomo, and he told them when Capricorn was in New York, he came out and visited her freely, and they hung out, and it was well known she wasn't in danger with Diddy of him hanging out with them. Like, he hung out with her. And he was like, so her saying these stories about how like he got jacked up because he knew who her affiliation was. He was like, that's not true. He said, I came to New York by myself, and her girlfriends hosted me. And he also said some other stuff I'm not going to repeat, but he was kind of saying that she would do anything, sleep with people to get ahead and all.
But
I was like,
but see, you know what? Thank you, Amy J. I appreciate you. They all did. That's the point.
I'm not gonna get into that, but the fact that she was basically strutting around New York with Suge Knight, that shows that if she was so deeply afraid of Diddy.
Listen, I said before, they all telling half truths.
Mm-hmm.
They all telling half truths. I already know in that circle, they was all drugging, they was all sleeping together, they were all doing the most. All of them. And every last one of them wanted Diddy to consider them number one. Whether they was the chef, the assistant, the landscaper. When you go for an interview, we already know that you about the streets. When you go for an interview and the man is in his robe and his underwear, and you proceed on with that interview and you take the job, then you for the streets. You about the streets. Because I don't know nobody that's as serious about their stuff that's going to go for that. But let me move on. Let's go on to this next story. So the next story is pretty sad. I mean, some people just, they can win. They're born into the shenanigans. They're born into the stuff. This young girl, beautiful, went missing. And when she first went missing, the mother was in the streets crying like, where's my daughter? What happened? So forth, so on. But at the end of the day, it was determined that the mother sold her own daughter. So mom who sold daughter 6 so her eyes and skin could be cut and used for medicine gets life in prison. Let me just pause that. A mom who sold her 6-year-old daughter so her skin and eyes could be cut out and used by a traditional healer has been sentenced to life in prison in South Africa. Raquel Kelly Smith, her boyfriend Jaqueen Apollos, and their friend Savannah Van were all handed life sentences more than a year after the mysterious disappearance of Jocelyn Smith from outside her home near Cape Town. When Jocelyn first disappeared, her mother was a figure of sympathy, and picture of the girl's striking green eyes, pigtails, and broad smile was shared across America. That is across the country. That is the young lady. May she rest in peace. Smith showed no emotion as her sentence was handed down, bringing an end to an 8-week trial that had to be moved to a local stadium so horrified members of the community could bear witness. She admitted to selling her daughter to a traditional healer or a Sangoma for 20,000 rand, $1,100, and said the girl was desired for her eyes and skin, a witness told the court. Jocelyn's body has still not been found despite an extensive nationwide search since she went missing in February 2024. The trio are believed to have sold the little girl to the healer to fund their drug addictions, the court heard. Mama 3 Smith was described as manipulative and has shown no indication of remorse or concern over the daughter's disappearance, Judge Nathan said in court. All 3 were also sentenced to a concurrent 10 years of imprisonment for kidnapping. I'm also ordering the entry of your names to the Child Protection Registry. There is nothing that I can find that is redeeming and deserving of a lesser sentence than the harshest I can impose, the judge told the defendants. That's the mother. Defendants are behind her. There were cheers in the courtroom as the verdict read out. Jocelyn destroyed grandmother Amanda Smith Daniels was present in the court for the verdict, wearing a white shirt embezzled with images of her granddaughter. During the initial search for the girl, one government minister offered 1 million rand reward, $54,000 for Jocelyn's safe return. That's the beautiful girl right there. But sympathy for Smith evacuated when prosecutors first alleged that she had sold her daughter to the healer. Since the start of the trial in March, witnesses, including the girl's former teacher and pastor, said that Smith had told them of the plan to sell of her child as far back as 2023. The ongoing search for Jocelyn has now been extended beyond South Africa's borders, police said on Thursday. South Africa has one of the highest crime rates in the world, with soaring rates of child kidnapping. In the last year, the Rainbow Nation saw more than 17,000 kidnappings, an 11% increase on the previous year, according to police statistics. Super sad. Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, to God the glory, a full plate of justice was served. I'm done.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Wayne?
That's a bit much for me, Diva. Just pass me.
48. I don't know if you're still there, 48. All right, I'll skip. I'll go over. Amy J.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Diva, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me, Diva?
Yes.
Okay. What's crazy to me is that she sold her daughter to be unalived, and her daughter looks like her. She could have just sold herself. It's sick. And I hope that she gets everything that she gets in jail. I hope those women that love their kids, that can't see their kids, beat her every day. That's all I got to say.
Appreciate you. Amy J.
It's unfortunate. I don't like to hear stories like that because I know that there are very drug addicted adults in this world. You just hope that they don't lose some sense of morality. Like your child, there's other things you could sell yourself if that was like, I mean, if that's what the people wanted. I just feel like, when you get to that point and you can't take care of yourself and you're considering selling your child for parts or pieces of sex, it's time to just go ahead and take your children to social services or give them to somebody. Because you're not right in the head. And to think that that was going to fly over and you get sympathy and they not figure it out, that's even worse because you played the role pretending to care about the baby when you know what you did. So I don't know. I'm not one of those people to say I want the person to suffer, because I think when I see that type of level of mental illness, I just want them to be hospitalized and taken out of society. But that's just really sad. That poor child didn't have a chance.
Didn't have a chance. Very sad. Julius, your thoughts?
The ladies in prison in Africa who cannot see their children, they better take care of business. This is an unremorseful demon who follows the enemy, who sold her daughter for what? For what? She needs to be handled. Her family got legal justice for the baby. But the ladies on the inside need to handle her now.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm going to roll into this last story. And my last story is a feel-good story. We haven't had those in a while. And we need them. With this Diddy trial, we need a little uplifting. So let me share a screen and we'll get into this last story.
A Gwinnett County graduate is being rewarded tonight in a way he never expected. Take a look at this image right here. Just hours after graduating from Tequila High School, Michael Baker stepped in to help his coworkers at Burger King when he saw how busy it was. And when Maria Mendoza spotted him in his graduation gown, she knew she had to snap that picture. Mendoza posted it online and asked people to help her raise money for his college expenses, and ended up raising more than $20,000, a number that certainly left Michael stunned.
I feel amazing because I've watched videos of this happen and I never really think it happened to me. And I
am so thankful it happened to you.
Yes.
So he was thinking about taking a gap year to save up for college, but now he's looking at applications.
This is really cool. And he also made sure, folks, that to thank his mom for pushing him to keep those grades up as well. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, hard work. pays off. Congratulations to the grad.
Thought it was a great story. Hold on, let me share a screen again. One second. So Whopper worker, hardworking teen shows up for last minute Burger King shift and graduation outfit before racking up 44K GoFundMe donations. His efforts were spotted by a passerby who set up a fundraising to help him realize his college dreams. A hardworking high school schooler showed up for a shift at Burger King just hours after his graduation, inspiring an onlooker to start a fundraiser for his college expenses. Mikhail Baker was still wearing his graduation stole and medals when he got back to work at the fast food joint last week. That was him working. Okay, that's him and his parents. That's the person that helped him. The 18-year-old from Georgia didn't follow his peers into post-graduation festivities, instead wasting no time in earning money towards his dream of going to college. But his strong work ethic caught the eye of Maria Mendoza, who posted a video on TikTok after she noticed his attire. So she was moved by his decision to delay a well-earned break to work towards his dream and decided to launch a GoFundMe to help boost his college funds. The 20-second clip was soon viewed more than 3 million times. Mendoza wrote, while many graduates spent the night celebrating with friends and family, one young man quietly showed the world that what determination looks like. Just after receiving his diploma, still proudly wearing his medals, he reported to his shift at Burger King. He didn't do it for attention. He doesn't even know his story went viral, but thousands of people were moved by his dedication, humility, and work ethic. She added, let's get together as a community and support this young kid. All funds raised will go directly toward helping him with college tuition, book supplies, and other educational needs. Let's show him that the world is watching and rooting for him. The fundraiser has now gathered nearly $45,000 for Baker to make his college dreams a reality. Mendoza returned to the same Burger King this week to present Baker with the donations. His dedication and quiet strength really moved me. I felt called to do something to recognize that, she told the local outlet 11 Alive. I'm just grateful I got to do something for him. The team was moved to tears at the generosity, revealing the financial uncertainty he had felt after finishing high school. He told Mendoza TikTok followers how much their kindness meant to him in an emotional message. Thank you so much. I was thinking of taking a gap year because I didn't have the money for school. But thank you to all of you now. I might actually go straight to technical college and get my mechanical, he said. I never thought this would happen to me. I'm very thankful. I thought that was a really heartfelt story. I'm wishing him success too, Lorraine. Felicia, your thoughts?
Wow, I love it. And God bless Miss Mendoza. God bless her for seeing the goodness in our son out there. Working hard. She talked to him, asked him why. And he said, I got to make this money because I want to have a future. And there it is. I just love it, Diva. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
There's no doubt in my mind this young man is going to make us proud. These are the kind of GoFundMes you don't mind donating to. You know it's going to a good cause. So, and was this lady a stranger and happened to come into Burger King? Yep. Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, a stranger. It's like an angel walked in, Bible says we entertain angels unaware. That's it.
Thank you, Wayne. 48, your thoughts? I think 48 has a delay.
Okay. Diva, you want me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. This is such a beautiful story. He's the young man that every mom wants her son to be. Honest, hardworking. I'm just so proud. He's not even my kid, and I'm just like, I'm just so happy for him. But it reminds me of how they say, you treat others how you want to be treated. Always act like you entertaining an angel. You never know what a smile will do. You never know what just staying positive would do for you. The fact that that young man said he graduated and he went to work still thinking about, how am I going to get to school, Lord? How am I going to do this? And look what God did. It just gives me goosebumps. Oh, I just love that story. Thank you, Diva.
Thank you. Yes, I'm glad I found it. It is a good story. It gave me chills, and I had tears in my eyes for him. Amy J. Amy J, are you there? Okay, Julius, are you there?
I am.
Mm-hmm.
This is a blessing in disguise. The Lord was already working to bless this young man. And they say, in your toughest struggles, that's when the most blessing is going to come in. I know it from personal testimony. It's least when we expect it, that's when God's gonna bless you the most, because he sees you're ready for this stepping stone. And that young man said, now I could go to technical school and get his go ahead, boy. We need more techs out here. Go ahead to technical school. Now you better make them grades though. As a student trustee at the community college, going on to the 4-year college to get my baccalaureate pretty soon, you better make them grades. Go ahead. And he's going to be a huge success. I can already see it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Listen, guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Lately, we've been overtime. I got to figure this thing out here. I think with the Diddy updates, I may have to just do 2 stories, but either way, I thought that last story was a great feel-good story. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.